Hey, and welcome to Tech Out Loud, where three college guys just reminisce about what happened this week during tech, and all the lowdowns, the high downs, and finals week, which drove all of us crazy.
Finally,
Our first
Finally over our first final week. Well,
me
Alex
and Andy.
is.
Yeah, I am
Alex
over.
is not first. But anyways, this is the week of April 22nd, the news. I'm Andrew Dang, always joined by.
Christopher Walton.
And I'm Alex West.
And let's start by the
Talking
dream.
about how bad finals week was.
I don't think they care how bad our finals week was. I don't know what you. I had a pretty okay.
I think,
finals week.
yeah. Well, I took 3 classes since.
Yeah,
so
I took
3
2.
classes was a lot easier to worry about finals than 4.
I only took 2. I really was late this semester because I was traveling a lot. So I'm like, I'm gonna take 2 classes and I'm gonna fail.
I don't know how people with 15 credits do it.
They don't travel.
No.
Like, oh wait, 15 credits and you go to work full time? That's
No,
I just have
it's-
nothing
yeah,
but
that's-
respect.
Well, have you ever seen that triangle?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
sleep.
It's like sleep,
Sleep.
social life, and good grades, and you can only pick 2.
Yeah,
So,
engineers get to pick one.
zing. Okay, let's start off with like.
Then you can't really have a triangle anymore.
But
Yeah.
I'm trying to start something here. Can we get off college life?
I thought we were on triangles.
You want to talk about PayPal triangle again?
No.
Okay,
Oh,
let's
that's
not,
terrible.
let's not go down that road. Spaceship Enterprise never went to space, but for some reason flew from Washington D.C. to NYC, where he'll spend the rest of his life.
Captain Kirk's
Enterprise.
You just said Spaceship Enterprise, so technically none of this Enterprises flew in space because they were all in a
That's
they were a
true.
model.
Is it really a space shuttle? Or can you say ship?
It's actually the orbiter because
Yeah.
it doesn't have an engine, it doesn't have the tank, so it's the orbiter.
No, but for like space shuttles, can you just say spaceships? Because you have like in the Navy, they call them battleships.
It's space.
I
shuttle.
mean, you could call airplane airships too.
yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna call it airplane, or you would call it fighter jet.
I don't think you would call a fighter jet airship, would you?
You would say a fighter.
Yeah.
Get in the fighters, but so spaceship. Like I don't know how you go from space shuttle.
Well, I mean, it's because when we say ship, you think like a lot of people, and the space shuttle only fit like 8 people.
When I think of shuttle, I just think of like those little like terminals
Well,
that
well,
get you to the airport
essentially-
back and forth.
Essentially, that's what it is.
Well, yeah, that is. It gets you to the International Space Station
Station
back and
back.
forth,
That's
and
the
only
point.
it only carries like max of 13 people, I
It
think.
carries a lot more rocket power.
That it breaks up in the atmosphere after. But anyways, it's the end of a dream, right? End of
It's
space
end of an
program.
era.
is,
It's end of an era. Like, can you
Gosh.
imagine, like, if because we were born in '92.
93 for me.
Oh, 90,
That's
92.
the
You were
start.
92?
92.
yeah. So we were
That's
just
the
like,
start of the space shuttle program, pretty much.
I think so. No, it was like that was the '80s,
late '80s,
late '80s. Like we were a space race, but
Well,
like
I guess
the
you guys,
dream.
you guys were on like the cusp of when it finally gained
Yeah.
mainstream momentum.
Because they're like, all right, if we had a dream like in the '90s, or like to be astronauts or anything,
That's
or
destroyed now. I'll tell you that.
to work your whole life dedicated to being an aerospace engineer, and then to get to like when it was officially announced that the space shuttle program was going to be canceled.
2004 when President Bush announced the cancellation.
Yeah, so 2004.
and then
So-
President Obama delayed it
so-
to let everyone keep their jobs, and then it
so,
finally ended.
so let's say 5th grade, you're set on it. We were set on
Yeah.
being an
Aerospace.
aerospace engineer.
Everyone was
So-
set on being an astronaut until that crazy lady drove across Texas in a diaper trying to kidnap her boyfriend.
Well, tons of Navy SEALs sit in diapers all the time when they're going to shoot somebody because you can't go up and go in the
No, I
bathroom.
know,
when you're
but, like,
sniping.
she just lost it. She
Jeez.
just lost her marbles.
I think it's. At least you can say, hey, whatever you do, I went to space. I live my life.
Yeah.
I can go crazy now. But like, still, the dream of being a space astronaut or anything, I guess you'd have to learn Russian and be. I don't know about the cosmonaut
Do you
program.
know Miss Jurgens at UHS, University High School? She's trained to be an astronaut in Russia because
Really?
she's in Russian descent.
And all that they train everybody, or just a select
No, she got
few?
into a program where NASA's training her.
Or right now.
Yeah, right now.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, the dream's not crushed to
So,
become an astronaut, but
Well, in America,
in America it is. But you go
it's
to Russia.
is it more like is there a joint space federation?
Yes, not like a specific, but
Like
there
a
is
UN?
There is.
an alliance between Russia, I think some South American
It's probably
space companies.
Brazil.
Brazil,
It's
yes.
probably Brazil.
China.
Yeah, 'cause you actually have to get into space.
Yeah.
Unlike North Korea.
I think Dubai's in it too because they want to build the first ever space airport to go back and forth between the International Space Station on a regular basis.
I know Richard Branson's really adamant about space too.
Oh yeah, with Virgin Galactic, but he's a
Mhm.
private company, so he's not in the alliance.
But I do know, like, if you want to get into space, you know now
Yeah,
you
don't-
can. I think you can.
You can pay
go.
$200,000 into Richard Branson's pockets, and he can take you up there and go down.
That's not bad. I mean, how long am I up? That's
About 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
8 minutes.
$200,000.
It is.
It's about 8 minutes of weightlessness, but you're spending. It's like the whole ride is 3 hours in duration, but you really only spend 8 minutes in weightlessness.
8 minutes.
See, I want to be able to like circle the globe.
Mm,
I have like a
see,
bird's eye
then
view there.
the 200,000, you really aren't losing out because a lot of it goes.
Because what's the
to fuel
difference between the
costs.
200,000 like that and then doing what the astronauts do for training in that airplane that just goes up and down for like 8 seconds?
Because you can actually see outside the windows.
Okay.
And you can, like, when they do go up there, you can go around the cabin in anti-gravity and see the Earth and see everything outside the windows.
Okay.
So, I mean,
people spend $200,000.
it's very egregious price, obviously. It's, like, not for us. It's for
Yeah.
the super wealthy. But, I mean, it's those kind of private companies that is keeping the dream alive.
Am I sad that the space station, the space program is shut down a little bit, but at the same time, it's, like growing, like, especially with, like, Star Trek just coming out. The first one, that like really like watching that movie with J.J. Abrams, you were like, man, I really hope like the space program is gonna like progress in the future.
One day become like that.
You know,
we
and
are.
I mean, Star Trek's been going on for so long,
1970s,
and we haven't
60s,
even got
70s.
anywhere close to having a ship.
Well, what about and then the flying cars, the future, and
The Jetsons things,
Yeah.
well, they're flying cars now, but they're just like you said, a grievous price.
Yeah, for the extremely wealthy.
It's the like the 2-wing. There's a 2-wing one. It's like a little battle. It's like a Fiat with wings. That just like detaches his wings and then
it's more of an airplane than a car, really.
Yeah.
But do you hear about this new company that's coming out? They came up this week. They're called Planetary Resources, and it's made by like the most weird group of people. It's made by like Google.
hippies.
No. It's made by Eric Schmidt, CEO of Google, Larry Page, founder of Google, James Cameron.
James Cameron's always looking for the next voyage.
And it's like these group of weird people. There's more, but those are the three main contributors. And they want their company to mine asteroids for natural resources. So,
Mine asteroids.
I mean, there's a debate. It's like, is this stupid? Why are we wasting our money on asteroids? Is this smart? Maybe we're running out of something that they have. But I thought it was interesting that this is still keeping the dream alive. I mean, it's not the way that we wanted, seeing the big, lavish shuttle go off.
Or being energized, or phasers, or just
Yeah.
small things like
I mean,
being able to go to a planet. We haven't ventured outside the moon.
Well, we're working on that.
We've
now.
only done two successful moon trips.
No,
No, just one, right?
One?
Yeah.
This one was 2.
it might be 2 actually.
No, but the one
Third
timeline.
one, Apollo 13, never made it. Well, obviously from that famous film,
Yeah.
I don't know if
but
it was famous.
it is famous.
The mission that never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
I thought you were talking about the kind of like paranormal activity one.
no.
No.
That's Apollo 18, isn't it?
Too many Apollos. Anyway.
Anyway, getting back on track.
Not movies. But yeah,
I mean, we haven't. I don't know. A lot of people could say it's good that the space program is over. That we can now focus our problems instead of on space here. But then a lot of people also can argue that we need to start looking for another planet because there's only a certain, like, our population is going to start overgrowing and we're going to start running out of natural resources. We're going to have to look for an alternative.
well, we do have a program that that's focusing on other planets as far as getting to them, but they're really privatized now. They're nothing to do with NASA. Like companies like Lockheed Martin and Boeing are the ones that are going to be taking over
I could say that.
the flights to, say, Mars. So NASA would probably partner with Lockheed Martin and Boeing and use private companies to get over to Mars and whatever.
Wasn't the Mars
planets.
rover built by Lockheed?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So.
Anything space oriented is
It's-
built by Lockheed.
Yeah, they're aerospace, so
But the company says no space miners in the near future because it's high risk, obviously, mining for asteroids. It's just robotic exploration right now.
You'd probably just send like one person to watch over the entire robotic. You would have like robotic drones taking, and it would just be one person there. It's kind of like the space station. Like now, you just have one person to rotate that person out.
Because they because of all the asteroids that crashed into Earth, they've been researching those and found out that we could use some of the resources. So now they want to go out and out in the other galaxies
To go get
Space
them.
jail.
out to the other galaxies to
Imagine
mine
that.
for these asteroids.
So they don't let the asteroids come to us. We'll go to the asteroids.
Exactly. And hopefully, when the big asteroid with Earth's name on it comes, they can take care of us.
I thought didn't a big asteroid already come for the dinosaurs? So it's only a matter of time for another one to repeat and just wipe out.
Well, we're always in danger of asteroids coming, so
Well, we blew up the last one, right?
I think it just missed us.
Yeah, it missed us.
Okay.
A lot of it just
Yeah,
misses.
a lot of us just misses our gravitational field.
and anything that actually comes toward us either disintegrates in the atmosphere.
Then we go back to planning for the most amazing movie ever, Armageddon, that deals with space mining.
No,
Yeah.
well, they had to save the Earth by blowing up the asteroid.
Well, they used
nuclear.
they used miners that were used
they use
for
underwater
black
oil
miners.
miners.
Yeah.
Oil miners.
Oil,
It was oil.
deep sea oil miners.
Yeah, and then they just boom plugged
I'll
in.
tell you right now, I know they're not going to launch 2 space shuttles at once. Let alone space shuttles going to an asteroid.
I'm pretty sure
No.
they're gonna want to launch one from here and one in Russia. And,
I know, but they launched them side by side at the same time.
I mean,
Time to watch
if
the movie.
Well, if the Earth is in super jeopardy, I'm pretty sure all the resources will be diverted into saving the Earth.
Yeah.
But space. Okay.
But
I'm not
anyway,
gonna get
speaking
into
of
that.
Moving on.
Earth is one galaxy. But there are many more galaxies out there.
And galaxies,
Especially according to Samsung, there are a lot of galaxies out
there's
there.
definitely a lot of galaxies, but this galaxy is unlocked.
This galaxy is actually coming on May 3rd.
Okay.
Samsung released the processor that's powering the next Galaxy
The
phone.
third one, right?
Yeah, the third one.
That's all they announced for their special announcement.
No, the real announcement's on May 3rd.
Oh, okay.
But they just announced the processor they're using. It's a quad-core Exynos processor based on the A9 architecture and ARM. And basically, it's going to destroy... it's going to destroy Tegra 3, basically. I feel those people who have a Tegra 3 device, Exynos is going to come and destroy you.
Can you explain the difference between the Tegra and the new processors coming out?
There's 3 processors that everybody's looking at right now. Tegra 3, this Exynos processor that Samsung just announced, and then, of course, the Snapdragon S4. Both the quad cores are based on A9, which is what we use now for our phones.
Isn't the iPhone an A4 processor though?
No, that's the name, but the
okay.
architecture is A9.
A9.
How they build it. It's confusing how Apple names it. Yeah.
49 winter.
So the architecture is an older architecture, so they put more cores in it to try to compensate. And these 2 processors, Tegra 3 or Exynos, will boost so high graphic capabilities, like iPad or greater graphics. But if you want raw CPU strength, it's going to come from the Snapdragon. While it's not full A15, it's based on it. It's a mix between A9 and A15, and even though it's only a dual core, the benchmarks of these dual core processors defeat the quad core of all those other processors because it's just more efficient. But graphic wise, the other 2 processors are better. I mean, and realistically, you're never gonna notice the difference, right? You get this high level, you stick a dual core quad core processor in a phone, and are you really gonna notice the difference?
I think you would notice the difference.
Yes, I would notice the difference because I
think
ran on the Snapdragon S3 versus the Exynos.
I don't think for basic tasks
Yeah.
you don't know the difference, but when you start getting into some,
I just
serious-
think basic users won't really know the
No.
difference.
The only thing you will know the difference between Tegra, Exynos, and Snapdragon is gaming performance.
Right.
The Snapdragon will kind of fall behind with the Tegra, and the Exynos will outshine it in game performance. But then in everyday tasks like web browsing, multitasking, the Snapdragon will be better.
I just hope they have a good battery to support this, processor.
Yeah, that's another thing. Battery life. There's been so many quote unquote leaks of the Galaxy S3. It's so hard to keep up with them, especially since the event is in exactly 1 week. So 1 week from today, we'll know what the Galaxy S3 is.
1 week.
1 week. It comes out May 3rd. So 6 days. And then Samsung released that commercial. I don't know if you guys saw the teaser that you guys saw it. They used the Mass Effect 2 soundtrack for it. And it was basically big text and all these galaxies. And it's this is the phone that's going to make you stand out from the crowd. And then they zoom out to a field of sheep. And I thought that was I'm like, oh my god, Samsung, it's not the best you can come up with, calling Apple iPhone users sheep.
I mean, I haven't seen that, but I have been seeing a lot more Lumia advertisements lately. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're kicking that up. And I don't want to talk about Windows Phone 8 too much, but there's been so much back and forth. It's like, yes, it's getting the update. Yes, it's not getting the update. No, it's not getting the update. But no word from Microsoft. So just keep tuned for that.
Yeah, nothing's finally set in stone until you hear it from the corporation or company itself.
But Galaxy S3, how do you guys feel about it? Like, am I the only one excited for this device?
I mean, I don't know. When you explain something in like a phone, and it's like you're really excited for it, and you get your hands on it, and then you just talk about how disappointed you are. It never makes me hopeful of a phone again.
What's going to happen is you're going to get your hands on a Galaxy S3, and then the next podcast we ever have.
No, you know what? It was the only phone that didn't do that to me was the Galaxy S2, because I really came to the Galaxy. The Galaxy S1 was a nice device, but it wasn't like groundbreaking. So then when they announced the Galaxy S2, I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to be like this okay device. It's not going to be too bad, but it's something I could recommend to like friends and family. And then I got it, and it blew my mind away. Like, they underpromised and totally over-delivered. I think the thing that's going to put the Galaxy S3 down for me is because they're just overhyping it a lot. And if it doesn't live up to that hype, I'm going to be super disappointed. Where they released the Galaxy S2 as kind of like, oh, here, our popular Galaxy S line, we have the second one right now. Just look at it. And it was amazing. It was brilliant. The Galaxy S3, how do you, like, you're really just about it until it comes out?
Yeah. I think I'm about every phone that comes out until...
Obviously, when it comes to phones, for me, anything's better than what I have now, so...
Yet you still won't pick anything up better.
No. I will wait until June when I find out from the new iPhone, but... once June happens, then obviously I'll have a new phone.
I thought we'd finally hear something about a new iPhone about May.
Well, it's not May yet, so I mean, there's still
technically,
time.
It's in 4 days? A week?
About a week.
About a week. We should.
Well, WWDC tickets went on sale and they sold out in 20 minutes.
I didn't know they were free because I would have grabbed some.
If you could have grabbed some.
Oh yes.
Would you fly out to Palo Alto?
Oh yes. That'd be the first time.
You complain about flying with me.
Well, I have to have a purpose. Like, see, I would fly out to California or San Francisco for Comic-Con if I had Comic-Con tickets.
That's perfect.
Because I have the tickets. Once you have the purpose to go,
then you go.
It's no matter what, you're gonna get there.
Life is a journey. The journey is the purpose.
Exactly. So I need to have a physical purpose. So if I got WDC, if you had tickets right now, I would say you dip into my savings account right now and say let's go.
But they sold out in 20 minutes. WWDC is usually when they announce the next version of iOS.
Yeah.
I don't know if they pegged a date. I think it was June 20th.
I think they did.
Was it June 20th? Someone look that up for me.
It sounds like really close to the launch of the new iPhone, though. If it is June. Should be June.
People are saying Apple's going to start this trend of pushing it back into October.
That's what I was thinking, because they
were late with the 4S, super late with the 4S, and then maybe
it's June 11th through 15th in San Francisco.
Okay, 11.
Well, because my thing is, in the summer, it used to be, the summer was iPad, or March or May was around iPad talk.
Really? The first iPad came out in January. I thought it was like...
Was it January?
Yeah, the first iPad came out in January, right after New Year's, and then iPad 2 came out in March.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And then the next iPad came out in March.
Yeah.
And then...
So I thought, January, March time would be iPad.
Yeah, Q1 would be iPad.
May would be... it used to be iPhone announcement, and in June it would be an iPhone would be coming out.
Yeah, it was like Q1 iPad, Q2 iPhone, and then Q3 iPods in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Just in time for, the Christmas season.
Mm-hmm.
And then Q4 would be, a refresh of their Mac line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if they're going to try to, get rid of all their events and try to, put everything, just have two major events.
I mean,
a fall and then a spring.
They didn't come up with any new iPods in 2011. They just came out with the old iPod Touch in white, and then they gave a software update to this iPod Nano, but they didn't come out with a new Shuffle. They didn't come out with a new Classic.
Did they even get rid of the Classic, or still have the Classic?
They still have the Classic, I think.
Yeah, they had nothing. They didn't even release a new MacBook, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Quietly, though. They never, flourish their refreshes. It's just we put a new graphics chip in it.
I definitely knew they did a new Mac Mini, which I've used and I love.
Mac Minis are too overpriced for what they're supposed to do.
600.
Yeah, it's $600 for like an i3 processor.
And the MacBook Air. Ooh, that's a.
Oh, the MacBook Air.
I love the
oh
MacBook
my
Air.
god. My sister, she loves me for buying that for her birthday.
It's amazing. I wish there's more USB ports on it. It's like the only thing.
You have to
My
get
sister doesn't really bother my sister. She's like, the most I'm ever gonna have is one.
Well, I have a CD external player, so I can just install the disc and everything I need on there.
Oh well, the only thing that she gets pissed off is like the USBs are so close together.
Mhm.
Because like, why even have two USBs on the same side
can't
if you can't put two USBs in at the same time?
I mean, the DVD drive you can get around. You can just use another computer
Yeah, we have an external DVD
Yeah,
drive.
Oh, that works too.
I have one.
because you can use your laptop as the DVD drive and then wirelessly use the.
I mean, because I really don't. I feel like if I had a MacBook Air, the new iPad, and
I just need
a good phone, I think that's it.
I can't get a MacBook Air because it doesn't have a GPU because I do a lot of editing.
It's integrated graphics.
Yeah, it's all integrated, but it's not powerful enough. I need just a dedicated graphics chip to render movies and to render.
I would like
it's
maybe
fast, but when you start getting into stuff like that, Photoshop,
And
Premiere,
maybe a
and stuff.
15-inch MacBook Air.
That's too big. I think that's too big.
It'd be big, but it'd be so
light and thin.
Your shoulders
No,
would
you know
never
what?
hurt again.
No, I know it wouldn't work because these Ultrabook companies made a 15-inch Ultrabook.
Was it the Lenovo or
No, it was Samsung. I think it was their Series 5 15-inch. And it was like so awkward because it's like supposed to be thin, but it's so big.
What are the sizes? 12?
For the MacBook Air?
Yeah.
11.3 and 13.1.
So basically, the
like
old
what?
MacBook was taken over by the MacBook Air.
This is how I think. It
It's
should
like
be
3 Samsung Galaxy Note or Galaxy Notes.
yeah, basically. I don't think the 13-inch MacBook Pro needs a purpose anymore. Like,
Really?
There's no point for 13. Like, it never made sense to me.
I use my.
I know, but it doesn't make sense to me. It has a lower resolution screen than the other MacBook Pros. It has a lower processor.
Mhm.
I felt like it was just a cop-out just so college students could get the cheapest Mac available.
And they did a refresh back in 2011.
But it's still not good
but
enough.
it's still not good enough.
Yeah.
It's a dual-core i5 or an i3, which are your options.
They
And
have
it's
i7, right?
Yeah.
Not in them.
They have i7s on the 15-inch and 17-inch MacBook
Right.
Pro.
They
I
won't put
don't
it in the
know,
13-inch, and it's dual-core i3 and i5,
Not quad.
not quad.
And then they don't give you the high-resolution screen, which is a huge deal breaker for
It's
me.
integrated graphics.
Yeah, no graphics chip, low resolution screen, and then a crappier processor. And like it made no sense to me when you had this Air that's the same size but much better than it. So I think the 11-inch and 13-inch should be Air territory strictly, and then 15 and 17-inch MacBook Pros, just separately. They should just kill the 13-inch line. It made no sense.
Well, we might see them phase out the 13-inch.
Like how they phased out the old MacBooks.
What's the
Right.
external storage on the MacBook Air? I forgot.
It comes standard of 128 gigs, solid state. You can upgrade it to 256.
And if you really want to do it yourself, 320, if you can afford it.
If I put
Yeah.
a terabyte in my MacBook Air, I think I'd be pretty
A
set.
Oh,
no,
a
you
terabyte's
won't
not
do
going to
it.
fit. The MacBook Air doesn't even use solid state. It uses NAND flash.
Yeah, that's right. They don't use solid state like.
Yeah, so a
Any
solid
other
state
laptop
drive is
does.
still
So I
too
put a
big.
solid state drive in here.
How big is your solid state?
I think it was. I
That's
can't
a solid state.
remember.
How big
Yeah. Or
is
is
it?
is it this one or is it the
You should look.
Yeah, you should definitely, because you'll definitely know if it's a solid state that will boot in under 10 seconds, and then you can resume it in under 2 seconds.
I can't remember which one. I know because we have a lot of MacBooks at the house, but I know there's one that has.
You can
solid
check
state
right now.
drive.
Should give you the specs.
But yeah, again, I'm very vehemently against the 13-inch Pros because they don't make sense to me in Apple's product line, especially when you can get a 13-inch Air that's so much better at the same price.
Yeah.
No.
Man, you probably got to press system report
So-
or storage.
Anyway,
Sorry.
yeah, we're trying to figure out if he has a solid state or not.
Yeah, right there.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to get a solid state in this.
Just look at his storage space. If he has more than 200, it's probably not a solid state drive.
It's 250
250.
SATA.
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 Oh, that might be.
How fast does your computer start up?
I never timed it. So.
But solid state is the way of the future. Because I don't think 10 years from now we'll have cloud, but until we have
I
cloud,
love cloud, but moving on to cloud.
no, not
No,
yet.
no.
You just gotta keep going with it.
I know.
And you can come back to anything.
I know, but it's awkward to come back to things. But until high bandwidth is everywhere, basically, because there's still latency using cloud. Until that latency goes away, solid state is the way of the future in the short term future. But in the long term future, it is cloud because Google Drive launched today. Not today, but this week.
This week.
Yes, it did.
Finally, after like what 5 years of teasing us.
I thought it was like maybe like 3 that we've actually known it was coming out.
There have been rumors of like a G Drive for like forever.
I know people. I know Kevin Rose has said he's went to Google about maybe 5 months ago and has been using it since. So, and he says that his friends have been using it for like 2+ years. So I was surprised that it's been going on that long.
And
But they've been like teasing it, and then it's funny when you click on Google Drive, it's like everything in the cloud. Finally, it's like they've been teasing this for so long.
They know.
Yeah, they totally
They
know. But it gives you 5 gigs. If you were a Google customer before using Gmail Picasa, you had great rates if you wanted to buy extra storage. But then the moment Google Drive launched, they doubled all their prices. So
Of course.
yeah. So
They make their money. But 5 gigs isn't really a lot when you think about it.
well, okay. So that's another news. Like I immediately when Google Drive launched, I'm like, how does this compete with the new SkyDrive? Because SkyDrive got a huge refresh this week.
Yes, it did.
They got a new desktop client, which is like Dropbox. So that's great. You can drag and drop into your SkyDrive directly. All old SkyDrive users with like an Xbox account, Live account, MSN account, Hotmail account will still get to be able to keep their 25 gigs of free online storage. But then anybody new from this point on will only get 7 gigs.
In fact, they actually downgraded me to 7, and you have to manually go in and...
If you don't have 4 gigs already in there, they downgrade you to 7.
Okay, and
But
that
if
must
you
have been...
But if you have 4 gigs or more, you'll only keep 25. Because they did all this quote unquote research where like 99% of users don't use more than 7 gigs. So why give more than people are willing to use?
And that's true, because I only had about 20 megabytes worth in my SkyDrive. I use it
Yeah.
for school documents. That way I don't have to, carry my flash drive around. I just log in. But actually, it's really nice to have that desktop right now. So nice.
Yeah, the SkyDrive Desktop Cloud is so nice now. Google Drive client, so nice. I paid extra for my SkyDrive storage, so I have 45 gigs of my SkyDrive now.
I kind of want to pay extra for Google Drive. I think Google Drive. I'm gonna pay a little extra and get the.
How much are you gonna get?
I'll probably get the second one from the free.
The 100 gig.
Yeah,
That's about $60 a year.
that's not bad.
A year.
I was gonna pay for the $20 25 gig one, but I'm like, why would I pay $30 a year if I
Well,
get
they
that
used.
for
You
free?
want to talk about how they used to have tiers?
Yes, I was so burned by this because I'm a huge Picasa user before Google bought it, and back then,
What is because of the
The
a
picture.
Flickr? It's like the Flickr.
it's like Google's Flickr
Okay.
thing that's now integrated into Google Plus. And before I stored all my pictures on Picasa. Like I'm so obsessed with Picasa storing because if your picture is 5 megapixels or less, you get unlimited storage. So I'd always shrink my photos and upload them to Picasa because it's unlimited. Why not?
And they're automatically copyrighted.
Well, they're yours. They're private.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, why not? Gets to save every single one of my memories as long as they're under 5 megapixels. And when I finally got serious with photography, I'm like, I kind of want to upgrade my Picasa account because I want to upload my full 18 megapixel photos now. So, and then it was so cheap. It was 80 gigs for $20 a year.
That's not bad.
80 gigs. It was ridiculously cheap.
That's
but,
only for photos.
no, for everything.
Oh, for audio.
Well,
yeah.
back then it was for everything. But back then it was for Gmail and Picasa. But then anybody who paid for that plan back then is now grandfathered into Google Drive.
So you have 80 gigs in your Google Drive.
No, that's the thing. I thought to myself, I'm like, but I already have SkyDrive, and that gave me 25 gigs, and I already stored all my photos up there. So I didn't jump for the 80 gigs. And now when Google Drive launched, they got rid of those cheap prices and doubled the prices of everything.
Do you think companies who make flash drives are going to take a hurt from people for cloud services? Or do you think there's going to still be a need to have a flash drive on you?
Like, until cloud storage is definitely proven like 100% faultless.
Because I haven't had a problem. I've been using Dropbox for 3 years now.
But they're like, you still have those people who are like, what if the server goes down? What if something happens? Like, I think a good example is
Well,
Apple.
I'll always bring up the backup on a USB, but I'll mail it. If it's mailable, I'll mail it to myself. If it fits on Dropbox, I'll put it on Dropbox, and then if I always bring it on a flash drive.
But
just in
everybody's
case.
afraid of the Sidekick Cloud situation. Like,
Well, now if it's Google though, I think a
Yeah,
lot of
I
people know more that like Google, like Gmail, it does go out every now and then, but like it's stable, it's reliable, and
but it's just like that initial scare. It's just like airplanes. Like you see one accident, and it doesn't matter what company that accident happened in. You don't trust another company.
True.
You're scared of the whole situation. Like back when the Sidekicks were, they were the first cloud-based phones. Everything you did on the Sidekick was cloud-based. Nothing was on the device. All your contacts, all your phone numbers, your IMs, your text messages were all stored in the cloud. And then one day, 2009, the big Sidekick crash. Every Sidekick lost all their data. And that was the Sidekick high, right?
Mhm.
That was the MySpace AIM high. And everybody lost everything. And from that point on, I think cloud storage kind of got like a stigma that they had to get over.
It went downhill from there.
Yeah. Like, these cloud storages like, are fighting back to say, we're definitely not like Sidekick. We can definitely be reliable. But until that moment where that stigma goes away, it's like the same stigma of Google Glasses and Bluetooth. We still think that people who use Bluetooth are disconnected and douchey.
Not anymore though.
Oh, I see a lot of old people wearing Bluetooth.
Yeah.
If you have two of them, they call them blue teeth. I saw one guy had two of them, and I just like he looked ultra douchey.
Yeah, like, you get that stigma. It's like, you don't know anything about the person, but you just get that stigma because they have that device.
Because I feel like the technology is just not up there to the point where it's, you know, like it's even though it's cool and futuristic, you just look like a derelict on the side of the street talking to yourself.
Well, that's what Google Glasses is too.
Well, Google Glasses, like, you're just gonna be like,
Is he on drugs?
Yeah, you're gonna be touching things that aren't really there.
Yeah.
But that's the same with cloud storage. People are afraid that one day they're gonna wake up and all their data is gonna be gone.
Which could happen, but it won't happen.
It's not likely
not
anymore.
likely.
Everything is solid now. Everything has backups now. But it's like, I think, again, if you're a developer for iOS, when they first launched iCloud, they reset iCloud twice during the whole development phase, and each time they reset it, all the data was lost.
Mhm.
I mean, good thing they never reset it when they finally launched it. But like, it's just like things like that make people worried, because news sites still report that, oh yeah, remember developers, your iCloud account gets reset today. But then people translate that as, oh, what if Apple resets my iCloud?
Then there goes everything.
Yeah. And then it all boils down to terms of service, because I read them.
Yes, you do.
I read
you make those people who write those terms of services job so happy.
I know.
I make them very unhappy because I write those big long ones to try to, like, get stuff in there without you noticing them. So I make them very unhappy for reading them because I point out the flaws and I don't agree to them.
Are you the kind of guy to will point out the flaws in the Merriam dictionary too?
Well, I can't prove that they're flaws, right?
Yeah, because sometimes they'll for names of people or presidents they'll leave off something.
Maybe, but it's hard to prove a dictionary wrong than it is to prove terms of service wrong. Like everybody was afraid that Google Drive, now that they launched this, they're going to access your personal data, use it for advertising, etc. But to be honest, reading the terms of service, they're really mild. It's about SkyDrive level terms of service, where everything you upload to Google Drive / SkyDrive is yours. You completely own it. They don't do anything with it. The only times they're allowed to touch your data is if you give them permission by moving folders around. Like when you move one file to another folder or delete folders, that's when they get permission.
And it's not like someone's sitting in front of the computer. Let me just move this guy's folder over here.
Exactly. They just have to access your data to move it, which is, obvious.
Right.
But then the big thing is what happens to public files, right? Because you make things public to share with your group of friends. Because, let me rephrase that. Let me start over. Google Drive was Google Docs, right? It replaced Google Docs, and now it's all under Google's terms of service. They're unified terms of service. Which means they can use your public data as examples. It works for YouTube because you want that, right? It's like, oh, here's some videos people are watching now, and you want that because then a million people see, videos people are watching now. But what if you're collaborating on a Google Drive document, and then it's and then they use that example. It's public because you're collaborating, and then it uses the example. Look at who's collaborating now. Do you really want a million people on your Google Drive document?
You won't be happy.
Because you said it to private though.
No, it's all under one terms of service now. That's Google thing. Everything is under one terms of service.
So it's all public.
No, it's not. is
whatever
whatever
you
you
set
make public, they
But
can
say
use.
I'm collaborating with you and Andy. Google can say, all right, let me just show the world
Yeah,
what you guys
these
are
people,
doing.
yeah, these people are collaborating. Here's some examples of collaboration in effect.
Oh wow.
Like YouTube does that too. Like what people are watching right now,
Mhm.
but you want that on YouTube because you want views.
Yeah.
But you don't want that on Google Drive when you're like collaborating with a group of people, and then Google's like, oh look, these people are collaborating right now. You can kind of join in.
Who's editing that page?
It's almost like a private business hangout, and you forgot to set it to private, and you're doing like this huge business deal, and you're trying to steal it, and someone just like, "Hey Bob, how's it going?" It's
Yeah,
like, "Where's your pants?"
That's the main issue right now because everything's on a one term of service. So whatever happens on YouTube happens on Google Drive. Like everything is connected.
So Google Drive, Google Calendar, all
Everything
the
is
Google
under
service.
one Google service. So if somehow they gave you the option to make your Gmail public, they will one day be able to say, "Oh, look, here's some sample emails from real people. Look at them."
I guess you could say Google is almost like Apple. They're trying to make everything into one, but instead of Google making it, Apple making it private, Google wants to make that public.
Because that's how Google makes money.
Yeah.
They sell your data to advertisers.
They know all.
But then Apple is so egregious with their iCloud services, where they own everything. Basically, everything you upload to iCloud, Apple says we have the right to take down, own, and remove and modify anything at our discretion.
Kind
So
of
you have no rights to the photos that are on your photo?
They're yours, but if they find anything wrong with them, they're theirs.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder: do you really want to use iCloud now?
And what is classified as wrong?
Like child pornography.
Oh, yeah, that's
nudity,
obviously-
Yeah.
But it's just like,
Well, a lot of people have.
but it's very vague, right? They don't say explicitly what's
yeah.
wrong. They just say to our discretion.
Well, that means they're also going through people's accounts.
Yeah, they are definitely going to your iCloud account. Definitely.
Oh, look, he's in Paris.
Oh, you know, some freaky stuff.
Yeah. It definitely won't affect a lot of people, but it's just something to keep your eyes out. Like, and then I know you were excited about this being a Dropbox killer.
I don't know if it was excited about it, but I was just more. I just wanted to know if it would be a Dropbox killer because I used Dropbox a lot in high school. I used Dropbox in college.
You use Dropbox now.
Yeah, I
Yes,
use
we
Dropbox
are.
now. But to have Google, well, because I think the only reason we use Dropbox more is because if you invite more friends, you're eligible for more storage. Yeah, Google has this, almost broken it down to a reasonable plan for more gigs.
I would go. It's hard to
100
call it,
gigs for
No, it's hard to call it reasonable when it used to be $30 a year for 100 gigs on Picasa.
how much is it right now? Picasa?
60. Because remember, they refreshed all their pricing schemes.
You're
And
taking advantage.
How much is it for Dropbox? Is Dropbox?
Dropbox is so expensive. It's like
Yeah.
don't even want to deal. with
Dropbox. There's Dropbox. There's I forgot what the other top cloud storage or there's iCloud,
it. iCloud, SkyDrive.
SkyDrive. I mean, I guess SkyDrive is the most. I don't know if it's the most popular one. I
It's
know.
not. I
I
would
think
say it's the most popular.
I don't know why Dropbox is the most popular, and they're so limiting. Like you get 5 gigs, and a lot of people
And then
use it so
SkyDrive,
much.
they give you 25 gigs for all those other users, and then it's like nobody hears of it.
Yeah,
Like everybody had a live account at one point or another. Everybody had an MSN Hotmail account.
I think everyone had to have a live account for to make for Xbox.
Yeah, they
So
do.
there's a lot of Xbox people who have live accounts that just don't use them.
Yeah, who had 25 gigs of storage.
It just never go on because they're just using it for live.
So
Yeah.
really, the best deal is SkyDrive.
Yeah, the best deal is SkyDrive, especially with their desktop client now. I still think I believe they're number one right now.
Is there a mobile client?
Yeah, mobile client for iOS, Android, and Windows.
So I can
Phone
take photos and just upload it straight to SkyDrive.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't even know there was a mobile client.
They just recently.
I knew there was a
announced
desktop client. I just didn't know it was
Mhm.
mobile.
now. They did the mobile one first, and then they did the desktop this week. They had the mobile one for like a month.
it. Yeah. There it is.
Okay.
I mean, 25 gigs is a lot, and I just paid for.
And you can do videos.
Yeah, you can do videos.
Can you stream the video?
Not like Dropbox.
Yeah, not like Dropbox.
Dropbox lets you stream video because I always have a problem.
Yeah, you can play videos from Dropbox.
One thing that sells me off of Google Drive is like
You
lack-
can't do audio, or that's
there's
what you said.
not just audio, but there's a lot of lack of support.
Okay.
Like you can't open a lot of files. You can just store them. Like I couldn't open Photoshop files, which is expected, but I couldn't open. You can't open MP3s, which is egregious. You can't open Office documents without an attachment.
Can you upload audio files?
Oh yeah, you can store them,
You can store them,
You can
and
store
people are
them.
allowed to download them.
and people are allowed to download them. But
And-
then if you try to go to like your Google Drive and,
And
click
upload
on
it,
and
and-
click on it to listen to it or whatever, it'll say error. Please just download this file.
So you have to
I'm surprised they wouldn't like they upload it and then somehow it connects to Google Music.
Yeah, that's what you. That's
their Google Music player.
That's like the most.
That's a great way to segue their products and just push more of their things.
Unify it. Unify it.
It's. I guess they'll probably that's what they're going to work on soon. Maybe that's why they haven't got it ready. They're going to integrate, Google's,
And then if you upload like documents, it'd go to like the Google bookstore and anybody can buy your documents. Here's 99 cents for my
or you can
college research paper.
Hey, that'd be awesome. So.
Oh, what's the point of xCloud? Because Samsung has been rumored forever to launch their cloud service called xCloud.
I don't know. It's probably another 5 gigabyte limit. The only reason I use Pogo on my iPhone right now, because that's when you signed up, they automatically gave you 50 gigs for free.
Like Box.com did a thing like that.
So I have 50 gigs. I can just back up all my photos and stuff on my iPhone, which 50 gigs iPhone app is pretty awesome. Just to take your photos and stuff. So it's 25 more than you would get on SkyDrive, but that was only for a limited time.
Yeah. But now SkyDrive,
do you still have that, or is it like only for that limited time you can use that 50 gigs and then they bump you back down to regular?
See, I was gonna sign us up for this Dropbox deal that gave us 250 gigs, but then in the very tiny print, it was only for 2 years, and after those 2 years expired, they delete the oldest 250 gigs.
Of data.
Yeah, of data. So I'm like, no. What if we had a whole archive, and all of a sudden they're just gone?
Yeah.
We're better off creating different accounts then.
I think everything, no matter what, I'm always going to store something on an external hard drive.
Oh, where's Mr. Cloud is the future now?
Well, no, you always have to have a backup.
Ugh, what is that always called? Anyways, I'm not going to touch that anymore.
Well, you always have to have a backup. Always.
Physical backup.
Everyone physically backs up something. Because, if Skynet ever takes over, or
even
a massive loss of technology, you always back up your stuff.
And the cloud is also a good backup as well. So really, they're relying on each other.
If the internet goes out,
and then what happens if your hard drive fails?
Once the internet goes out,
what if the hard drive fails?
I'm pretty sure your hard drive will not fail as much as the internet can go out, because the government can shut down the internet anytime they want.
But you could drop your hard drive and there goes your work.
I mean, you can drop a solid state. If you have a solid
even
state,
if you drop
your story,
you still couldn't get online.
Do we have external storage, solid state?
No.
Exactly.
No, yes, we do. They're called flash drives.
Oh, well, flash drives are a different story,
Yes.
but can you store 250 gigs worth of...
Yes.
If you had a lot of flash drives.
Well, it's an external hard drive right now. It's almost a big flash drive.
No, he's asking if they have external solid state.
Oh, I think 4 gigabytes. I've seen that have a 4 gigabyte flash drive. My father has a 16 gigabyte flash drive.
I have a 64 gig.
Yeah, they go up to 64.
Yeah.
But they're expensive.
I think there's a 1 terabyte too flash drive.
No, there isn't.
You sure?
Yeah, definitely.
If
it is, it's like $10,000.
Yeah.
Because
I wouldn't mind one, but put my whole computer on it.
they do have those 2 terabyte SDXC cards now, though,
Yeah.
which is insane. 2 terabytes in the size of an SD card, micro SD card.
But what can utilize it, though?
Cameras.
Every single camera should be
Well, no any camera that can
SDHC.
SDXC.
XDSC now. I remember when it was just SDHC. Those SD cards are going... They're getting a little bit more advanced every single time.
Yeah, I think they're trying to beat out compact flash.
I thought compact flash died out, really.
No, because it still has the best write rate.
Because I have a compact flash camera from like 7 years ago. Camera still works. I just thought... I guess 7 years ago, the sizes of the compact flash were not that big. Because really, I think the max we had was like 512.
Yeah, now you can get I think 20 gigs or more. Probably like 48 gigs close around.
They're a little bit bulkier, but I guess...
But they have such a fast write speed. Like, you can shoot like 1080 at like 60 frames per second.
What do like SLRs use? They still use SD cards though.
No, they use the 5D Mark II and the D4 from Nikon both use compact flash.
Compact flash. The
Yeah.
Mark III?
Compact flash.
Okay.
The Mark III uses 2 compact flash slots, and then the D4 from Nikon uses 1 compact flash and then 1 SD slot.
Kind of a backup, or?
I think Nikon's trying to get away from compact flash because an SD card is small.
Yeah, they are.
And the technology is getting better for their write speeds. So eventually they'll replace them.
This makes sense. They'll get rid of the micro SD cards, and they were trying to get micro SIM cards.
They're getting smaller and smaller.
Standards. I want to talk about. I know it's late, but I want to talk about the 1S that launched on T-Mobile this week. I got one-on-one time with it. I didn't get to take it home and coddle it and find all its flaws. But on a first glance, it's it's the best phone you can get on contract on T-Mobile, except for another phone we'll talk about later. I know you're excited about it. On contract, it's the best phone you can get on T-Mobile. It has a dual-core Snapdragon S4, so it's the fastest processor you can get on the market right now. The screen, when I read the spec sheet and it was the same screen as a Razer, I was immediately appalled because the Razer screen was completely awful. But then viewing it in person, I mean, it's still bad. It's still, don't get me wrong, it's still not 1X screen, but it's a lot better than the Razer screen.
This is surprising because he was bashing that screen a couple podcasts ago.
Yeah, because on the spec sheet it is the same screen as a Razer, and the Razer is it's an atrocious screen. Like, I don't even know how that got past, control.
So setting aside the screen, the phone overall.
Oh my god, the phone is fast. T-Mobile kept the bloatware to almost minimum.
Oh, you have the 1X too, right? Or you
played with
the 1X?
Yeah, I had the 1X for like 2 days because I made my friend let me borrow it.
So 1X or 1S? If both were on T-Mobile.
If both were on T-Mobile and they both use the Snapdragon S4, me personally,
the 1S.
I would go for the 1S
so
just because it's smaller and it feels so much better in your hand. It's so thin, it's like Razer thin, but the battery life actually lasts pretty good.
I thought you would have went to the 1X because of the white.
I like the 1X because of the screen, not so much the white.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not too big into white phones.
Are they both Beats audio?
Yes, they're both Beats audio.
Can you get a free pair of Beats headphones with them?
No.
That's disappointing.
No. Because okay,
the whole Resound phone that came with
when HTC first did the Beats contract, they did bundle every HTC phone with Beats. But then then after a couple months, they realized people don't go, "Hey, that phone has Beats on it. I'm gonna buy it." So they were just wasting money putting Beats headphones into these phones. So they stopped bundling. But the 1S definitely. Best phone on T-Mobile right now on contract, but if you can splurge, is $199 on a 2-year contract. It's not technically $249, but then they give you a $50 rebate. I think rebates need to die.
How much out of contract?
With a 2-year.
No, how much out of contract?
Out of contract is like $600.
Okay.
But like, if it's $199, $200 more can get you the Nexus, Galaxy Nexus, out of contract. From Google, unlocked, Pentaban, the pure, real deal, no fake, no kerf Galaxy Nexus.
This was like one of my favorite phones before all the other HTC phones came out, like the 1X, and I mean, when I played with it at the store,
I mean, if you can get past the crappy camera and the semi-questionable...
How's the front-facing camera? It's terrible too.
Awful.
I was surprised at how well the Lumia 900's front-facing camera is.
Nokia takes good care of their... I don't know what the back camera is. Like, I don't know what the deal with the Lumia's back camera is, but Nokia prides itself so much on camera. Look at the 808 peer view. Why release that? Just because they can.
Yeah. But going back to
Galaxy Nexus. $400 out of contract. That's such a ridiculous price. And you're getting an HD screen. You're getting a dual-core processor. You're getting a Pentaban radio, so it works on every single carrier almost.
You're getting group face chat.
Well, I mean,
with Google Plus. I think that's the future.
Okay, Google Plus ambassador, even though nobody uses it.
Well, no, it's the future of video chatting because a lot of people want to chat with a lot more people. Like on FaceTime, I'm sure a lot more people would use FaceTime if you can have a group people.
I think a lot more people use FaceTime if they allowed over 3G.
That and Skype too. Skype, it's the same thing. It's only one-on-one. Well, I don't know about you, Alex. Would you like to have Hangout?
I would if I could actually get it.
I think that's really cool. Like, I haven't used Hangout on the phone personally. I don't know how the interface is. Is it laggy or?
Mm-hmm. It's all based on your speeds.
Okay.
Using Hangout on a Verizon Galaxy Nexus, you'll see no lag whatsoever.
But on the HSPA Plus model, the HSPA Plus is the faster of the 3G, right?
Yeah, it's the fastest 3G.
4G is not anything.
No, LTE is the fastest 3G you can get.
I thought LTE was 4G.
No, it's 3.9G.
Okay, then what's 4G,
LTE-A.
which is lower than LTE? Right?
No, it's higher than LTE.
It is? Okay.
Yeah. LTE is not supposed to come out until 2013.
2013.
Okay.
But I bet you, I guarantee you, sorry, sidetrack, but I guarantee you when LTE-A does come out, Verizon or AT&T or Sprint's going to be like, oh, our LTE network is so fast, some may call it 5G, like, joking about it, and then over time, they're really going to call it 5G.
Kind of like what they did with the 4G and the iPhone.
I'm going to call it now. They're gonna joke like, it's so fast, some may call it 5G.
It's like having another G.
Exactly! But anyways, yeah, Galaxy Nexus, $400. This is cheaper than Lumia 900.
Yeah.
Like, I thought the Lumia 900 was a great deal for a Halo phone for $450 unlocked, but this just blows that out of the water.
So you're getting, what are the specs with the
I can tell for the Galaxy Nexus,
storage-wise? You're getting 16 gigabytes, right?
16 gigabyte.
With macro SD, so you're able to expand.
I don't think so.
Really? You can't expand? I thought it was SIM cards?
No.
Or the SD?
The Verizon version had 32 gig with an SD card. I don't think that HSP Plus had an SD card.
So disappointing. It'd be nice to expand the storage, though.
Yeah, there's no SD card slot in the Galaxy Nexus.
No SD card slot?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 16 gigs.
You will have access to the Google Drive app since it's on Android. The first app is
Well, anything that has Google Docs is now Google Drive.
Yeah.
It's funny because I had Google Drive on my sister's Kindle Docs on my Kindle Fire, my sister's Kindle Fire, and then when I went to download the Google Drive app, it just came up as an update to Google Docs. It didn't come up as a separate app.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they're totally phasing out Google Docs. Whoever used it.
Oh well. I used to use it like a few times when it first
I
came
used
out.
it when I realized that when Word was so much better than it, until I realized Word was a lot better than it.
Yeah, and then SkyDrive kind of integrated their services.
Yeah.
So.
But Galaxy Nexus, are you gonna buy one, Chris? I know you wanted one for so long. And I mean,
well,
to
I don't
me,
know.
the
Like
only
it's been out for a while now, right?
Yeah, it's been out
So
since October.
Okay, so do you think they'll still get support for
Yeah, definitely.
the next two?
It'll still get update. The next version of Android, it will get the update, but I'm not sure about that after that.
Okay.
Because the Nexus 1, it shipped with Froyo, it got Gingerbread, but then Google's like, oh no, it's not getting an ice cream sandwich.
This is probably what I'm going to do. If the iPhone 5 comes out, I'm probably going to get the iPhone 5.
If even it has the same size screen.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get the same. Well, if it's the same screen, I might go Android. If it's not the same screen, I'll buy the iPhone 5 with a contract, sell my iPhone 4, take the loss on whatever on it, unlock, and use that money to get a Galaxy Nexus.
By that time, the next Galaxy is going to be out.
Well, at least I'll have the Galaxy that I wanted. So the point is, I'll be able to go back and forth and use, the unlocked GSM.
This phone has a barometer on it.
Wait, I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to use the Galaxy. Yeah. So, but the thing is, by next year, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have an iPhone and a Galaxy Nexus. I'll be swapping both because I'm kind of tired of just the interface. If someone wants to donate me a Windows phone to play with,
here, speaking about carrying multiple phones is a headache. Like, it's fun to do, but it's a headache.
It is. Bad. It's just kind of like you don't have enough pockets for that.
No, it's not that. I definitely have enough pockets, and I can't remember message drag. So storage spaces. The issue is ecosystems. It's like I hate jumping ecosystem to ecosystem to ecosystem.
Well, I like how you can use any Android phone as pretty much a storage device.
Not anymore.
Really?
Not anymore. Starting with Ice Cream Sandwich, they cut support for USB mass storage, and now it uses this not new, but like an old codec called MTP Media Transfer Protocol, which is basically like, how when you plug in your camera and then Windows or Mac recognizes as a camera and you can't do anything else on the camera except get your pictures? Mm-hmm. It's exactly like Android now. You plug it in, it recognizes it as like a music device, and you can only move your music.
Oh, that's it.
Because
it's kind of like the iPhone already.
Yeah.
You can only do pictures. You can't even do music.
Yeah, the iPhone, when you plug it in, it recognizes as a camera.
Because I liked it before, because when we loaded Lion onto it, it's kind of like having a flash drive as a phone.
Yeah, like all old Android phones, you can plug in. It's essentially an SD card, and you just drag and drop. And
so you can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore. They're cutting support for USB mass. It's all MTP from now on.
That's kind of a deal breaker.
That is.
But besides the crappy camera and the questionable build quality, just jump on this. Like, this is such a good deal. Like,
I do want it.
Like, who cares about the specs? Even they're outdated. I still recommend the Nexus S to some friends because they can't afford a Galaxy Nexus. But I'm like, dude, just get the Nexus S. I mean, like, you're not going to know it's that big of a difference performance-wise, and you're still going to get updates. So I still recommend the Nexus S.
I don't know, like, that's the thing. I'm like, I like having the iPhone because I feel like the newest iPhone because I know I'm going to get support for, like, another 2 years. It's 2 years for everything. I don't know about Android phones. That's the thing.
The Nexus program is supposed to be like that, where you get support for 2 years, but then the Nexus One only got 1.5.
Yeah, and this is the Galaxy Nexus, and so this is like the last pure Google phone. That's
latest.
The latest pure Google phone. So
last.
well, no, from Samsung, right? Because I thought they were going to be switching to Motorola.
They actually might be doing Asus next.
Yeah, that might be a deal breaker.
Really? You don't
Yeah.
like Asus?
Nah.
I love Asus. Like,
They make good motherboards.
I love them a lot more than Samsung. Their quality control is a lot better than Samsung.
I'll have to see at the end. For the 55-minute mark, just so you know.
55-minute mark, holy cow. Galaxy Nexus, I'm not going to buy one because the camera's crap.
Yeah, I like my iPhone camera.
It's going to be worse than your iPhone camera.
See, I want to get either better or same.
It's faster than your iPhone's camera, but I mean, like, you're going to have faster, crappier shots.
It's probably gonna be.
What
an
about
upgrade to
front-facing
this.
camera on the iPhone?
It's about the same, but because you have such a big screen, it looks worse, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah,
Because, like-
see, because the pixels are spread out.
Yeah, the pixels are more spread out, so it looks worse.
Yeah.
But it's the exact same module. But the 720 display, even though it's Pentile, it's
Wait, how much is the Lumia out of contract for?
$450.
$450. So $50 more, you get a really good camera.
Yeah, for $50 more, you get a really good front facing, really good back. The specs don't matter on the Lumia because you played with it. It's fluid. It doesn't need dual core, whatever. But then, I still think the Nexus is a better device because you get a better ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I like the Lumia as a better experience, like the Core UI is a better experience for me. I'm not speaking for everybody, but it's better for me. The ecosystem is not there.
I can see that.
So, because I just love using Windows Phone more than I like using Android. And with that, hopefully nobody listens to that last part because I'm going to get flagged now. And we're very close of launching a new site.
I don't know if we want to announce anything yet because we don't want anybody to, if they do listen, to grab the domain before.
No, I'm not going to say what it is,
Oh.
but I'm just saying we're very close to launching it. I just designed the logo. I just took a week to design the logo.
The website design is in progress as well.
It should be up. Well, I want it to be out for my birthday. Can you guys make that for my birthday present? Like, just launch this site on my birthday?
Oof, I'm gonna have to work on my editing skills and learning how to. I don't know what we're using to. Are we gonna use your free website builder?
Right now, that's temporary. Once we
I can throw something together in Dreamweaver and blend.
CSS.
Certain aspects of CSS. I do like the style sheet of CSS, but I don't like
I'm
like
using
everything else.
Dreamweaver
Can you,
like an 05.
Can you do HTML5 in Dreamweaver?
The problem with HTML5 is you don't get like single page websites.
And that's basically what ours is like right now. It's not single page.
Yeah, like if you click, like you know how Facebook is single page. It's like you click messages, people, whatever, and still on
And it
one
comes up,
website.
yeah.
And if you click a back button, you get jumped out of Facebook instead of going back to the last tab because all Facebook is CSS.
Yeah.
So I'll see. I like CSS because of that fact, but
Yeah.
I like HTML5 because it's more battery efficient. But on that note, we're super close. We're super excited. I'm excited. I don't know about you guys because I
Yes.
designed the logo, so it's kind of like that logo's my baby.
Oh, to go back to Google Drive, it's actually I was gonna go 25 gigs, 250
Yeah,
a
but
month.
I get that. I was gonna do that, but I get SkyDrive for 25 gigs for free.
Yeah.
So why am I gonna pay $30 a month for what I get with SkyDrive for free? Anyways, thanks so much, guys. You can always get in contact with us at fansoftechoutloud@gmail. That's I think the first time I've ever sent that email
That
on
is.
air.
Yeah.
We have not gotten an email since, so
Because it's such a long email, I want to
It
email
is.
that account.
maybe
Wow,
we'll
thanks
put a
for-
shortened link on our website once it launches.
Yeah, we'll hopefully have our own domain by then. It'll be podcast at whatever domain we decide to
Yeah.
sell. As always, you have our individual Twitters if you want to peek into our minds, see what happens, see Chris complaining about traffic and grades.
And checking in everywhere on my Foursquare.
Check out Andy's Twitter if you want to see a bunch of Instagram photos.
Oh my god, no. But I'm at Andang at ANDDNGIT. Christopher Wallen's at Chris Wallen, capital C, capital W, and Alex Weston's at Alex Weston, who still needs a new phone. But instead of an O, it's a 0.
He's going to have to commit to a contract.
Am I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, stick it to the carriers! Stick it to the carriers! Stick it to the carriers! Anyways, I can't drop the F-bomb, but I totally would drop it in this situation. F the carriers, F the bureaucracy, anarchy for the win. Anyways, see you guys next week. See ya. Bye.